TOA community, welcome back to the channel, everybody. Robert Linkul, trainingtheolderadult.com. I want to talk to you all today about bone density, osteopenia, osteoporosis, a little bit of sarcopenia, and how a new show on television called Special Forces gives you some very good examples of why, number one, you should never allow your muscles, your body to get so deconditioned that you can't even manipulate and move your own body weight around, let alone some, I will say, light to intermediately light weights, right? Anyhow, I don't want to jump the shark. I'm going to get into it. I'm going to show you some videos. I want to read you a couple of things from the books here. But first off, this is from Instagram Zoe. I don't know who Zoe is, but my wife follows her, him, whoever it is, and sent me this, and I really liked this post. So to start us off, there's 4 or 5 slides here. We'll talk about a little bit of each one of these. The risk of bone fracture for a 60-year-old woman is almost double that of a man of the same age. Okay, and she's going to talk about some other ways to protect yourself. So that is true. It's actually a little bit worse than as it sounds. So this is from one of my favorite books, Fitness Professional's Guide to Strength and Conditioning, Strength Training for Older Adults. Okay, and there's your Bashel and Westcott. I always say the name wrong. I don't think I said it right, but anyhow. Okay, here we go. For those that don't know, osteoporosis is a condition characterized by the deterioration of bone tissue that leads to bone fragility and susceptibility to fracture. According to the NOF, the National Osteoporosis Foundation, 10 million Americans probably have osteoporosis. I like that. According to us, they probably have it. And another 34 million, not 35, probably 34 million, have bone loss or osteopenia, which is the early onset of bone softening, bone loss, which places them at risk for the disease. Of the 10 million who have osteoporosis, 8 million are women. Okay, this is as of 2009. That's how old this information. I'll give you more recent stuff updated here in just a moment. Osteoporosis has no obvious symptoms. I beg to differ. I'm going to show you someone who you look at her and you go, that lady's got osteoporosis. Okay, 100%. It's a train wreck. I watched every second of it. I loved it. It was miserable, but it was awesome. It was good television. I'm going to show you this in just a second, okay? All right, osteoporosis has no obvious symptoms and ultimately is usually determined after an injury. Okay, therefore, you must ask your clients, especially women, if they've had a bone scan done, and if they have, you should ask for a copy of it. Okay, so what I want to show you right here is a video of Tara Reid. Tara Reid is from the American Pie show movie back in the 90s. She was, a huge actress, big star from that movie. Became very popular, was in a couple of other movies, and then nobody's really seen anything of her since. Now, when I watched this, I went, wait a minute, when Tara Reid, I was in high school, and I feel like she was like maybe just a couple of years older than me. You tell me how old this person looks, okay? All right, here we go. You ready? Everybody ready? All right, here we go. And action.
Let's go.
Wait,
Do the recruit.
I have to say something.
Come here. What's going on?
The bag is so heavy, I can't do it. My bag's killing me. It should be per weight per person. It's not fair. I'm really in pain, and it's like no one cares.
It is fair because everyone has to carry the exact same thing.
This thing is a monster on my back. I don't want to do it anymore.
Okay, so if that gives you anything, a little tiny hint of where this is going, okay? So here, hold on. I got another one for you. Don't go anywhere. Okay, this one's even better. It gets a little deeper. It's a tiny bit longer. Okay, she's getting interviewed on, what is this, Fox News, okay? All right, everybody ready? Okay, here we go. And action.
Tara Reid gave it a shot this week on the new Fox show, Special Forces.
In the industry I'm in, it's not easy. But mentally, I'm pretty strong, and I'm still here.
Now stand up. Well, slow down. Slow down. Dope on a road. Catastrophic, terrible.
Dope on a rope, he calls her. Catastrophic failure. Okay, here. But, well, okay. Let me hear me.
I can't do it. My back's killing me. It's not, it should be per weight per person. It's not fair. I'm really in pain, and it's like no one cares.
Actress Tara Reid joins us now. Was that upsetting that he called you dope on a rope?
No.
Yeah, I mean, I think, part of their job was to be somewhat, obviously, cruel and mean, but,
They weren't cruel or mean to her at all. They really weren't. I watched every second of it, okay? They were not cruel or mean to her. That's how she interpreted someone asking her and demanding her to do something and to try to motivate her along, which didn't go all that well. Let's continue.
but when you're going through that actual experience and you really, you're not almost even listening to what they're saying because you're actually in physical pain. And I know anyone that's ever been in physical pain, you're kind of not even listening to.
Okay, look, everybody take a look. How old do you think she is? I mean, does she look like she's like 60 years old, right? You're going to see a video of her trying to move here in a minute in like a tank top or something. And I'm not making fun of her. Okay. I do not make fun of people. What I'm doing is using this as an example. The entire time I'm watching this show, I'm going, this is a classic example of someone who is so deconditioned. They can't even move their own body weight around. They're trying to go on a hike with their backpacks. She can't handle the backpack. Mind you this, okay? I get it. These guys are strong. The ones, the COs or whatever they're called, the staff, okay? I get it. They're strong. They say these are 30-pound backpacks, okay? The backpack that they throw her, the guy picks it up and chucks it, okay? Like chucks it, underhand chucks it 15 feet. It hits her and bounces off and lands on the ground. She's 90 pounds soaking wet. And if a 30-pound backpack thrown by a military giant chucked a weight across the ground at you and hit you like that, it would have knocked her down. Number one, I think it was about 10, maybe 15 pounds, okay? I'm guessing 8 kilos at the most. And it hits her, bounces off of her. She's all upset that he threw it, number one. And then she cannot carry this backpack. She can't do it. They have it on. They're trying to leave the compound, and she can't stand up straight. So deconditioned, okay? So you watch this, and you're like, yeah, Rob, you're picking on this lady who's 60 years old. She's 47. She's 47 years old. She is 47 years old. Tried to sneak in 4 packs of cigarettes. Contraband. They caught her. She's the whole time talking about how, basically her body is like, I couldn't help but think she was using this as like a detox of some sort. Her body was going through something crazy. Anyhow, let's continue.
What people say, but you do hear it. But it's hard to keep moving on and going on. And on the show, I really did. I don't know if you watched it, but I tried my best, and I did the best I could be. But at the end of the day, that backpack that weighed the same amount as my body made no sense when you have
She said that backpack that weighed the same as my body. There's no way that was 90 plus pounds. No way. None of them had 90-pound backpacks. I guarantee it. At most, the bigger individuals, the bigger guys, the one staff instructor says they're all 30 pounds. Everybody, it's totally fair. Everyone has to carry the same weight. I don't even think that's true, okay? I think the smaller individuals had less weight and the bigger individuals had more weight. I'm very good at looking at things and judging how they weigh based on someone's effort. And when you just pick up something and chuck it like it's like you're carrying a bag of laundry, it was 10 or 12 pounds guaranteed, okay? Now, she's about to say in a second that the rock they made her carry was way too heavy. They didn't make her, she picked that rock. They said, go and pick rocks. And they just waited and let everybody go and pick one. It was a test to see, will you pick a little tiny one and understand that you're like taking the easy way out? Or will you pick the biggest rock you can get and overestimate how ego driven you are? Oh, I can handle the biggest rock. I'm a stud. Or would you find one in the middle? So she goes and finds this rock, which I'm guessing is about 10 to 12 pounds.
Professional football players and basketball players putting the same amount on their back than I had.
Not true.
There was no way that I was going to get out of it. It was impossible.
Did Special Forces break Tara Reid?
Yeah, watch this first step. She eats shit on the first step.
Almost broke my back. And it definitely hurt me, my shoulders, but it didn't break my spirit.
Because you were crying when you're holding that rock above your
47.
head. How long did you have to do that for?
Oh, that rock wasn't just holding over my head. We had to hold that rock around about 3 different times and then go over a bridge, under a bridge, in a bridge, out that. So then finally at the end when you were like, everyone was just crushed, I had to hold the rock still. And like people just dropping the rocks left and right. And of course they gave me one of the biggest rocks there.
they saw you coming a mile away.
Yeah, she picked that rock up and over and under and in a bridge. I don't know what she's talking about. They had a course they had to go around 3 times, and they had to like duck walk with it at one part, and then they had to press it a couple of times the next one, and they had to like hinge and row with it, and then they had to walking lunge while it was a baby workout. We do these all the time. When you pick up your baby, a kettlebell or a dumbbell, you can't put them down until you finish a round. Don't drop the baby, right? It's a baby workout. Very, very, very common. Another thing, I know I'm getting off base of the osteoporosis, but if you know you're going to go on a show called Special Forces, do you think you would train just a little bit? I don't think any of these people trained. While the show is going on, okay, they keep interviewing her, and you can see how frail and how weak she is. And again, I'm not making fun. I laugh when she falls off the ladder, but I mean, she wasn't even close to taking that step. That's another example of how deconditioned. A 47-year-old, she 100% has osteoporosis. I guarantee it. I would bet my life on it. And if you have osteoporosis and you're this deconditioned and frail, you can bet your money you have sarcopenia, okay?
Actress, yeah, we're going to make life pretty miserable. But you've had a great life up until that point. Going in, did you have a preconceived notion of the military, and did that change after?
Yeah, she goes on to talk about how much she supports the military, which was very cool. She tried hard. She really did. I mean, I think she tried as hard as she could, but her body was so deconditioned, she was completely trashed. She was wrecked, okay? Wrecked after the first, 3 hours, 2.5 hours. And they had to do some PT for about an hour, and then they got a break. And then they went and did the water plunge. And that completely broke her as well. She couldn't get her own body up and out of the water. It's just, I've watched other videos, okay? I watched a couple of videos. I've talked about this before. One lady's trying to control her dog, who's not attacking anyone. It's just trying to get to another dog. It sees this other little dog, and it's like, my buddy. And he's like charging at him. And this lady's just getting drugged and dropped over and over and over again. And it's probably like a 30 or 40 pound dog. So a bigger dog, but she couldn't even manipulate her own body weight to get up to try to resist the leash. So deconditioned. Okay. Granted, that lady was probably 50 or 60. There's another one where it's either a nanny or a grandma. I don't know. You've all probably seen this. She's got a baby stroller and is like getting a bag or groceries or something, goes to put it in the car. The stroller starts to roll away, and it's in like San Francisco, this hilly area. You see cars like zoom, 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 zoom driving, and it's rolling down. It's like straight out of the Untouchables movie, right? So the carriage is rolling, and the lady goes, the baby. And she goes to take a step, and her leg buckles, and she just eats it onto the ground. And she tries to get up, and she falls again, and you see her arm like snap as she falls. So deconditioned. They can't manipulate their own body. This is what I talk about when I say that people need to be, if you lift weights with a circuit machine, okay, the stacked machines with the weight stacks, and you just go chest press, row, leg press, pull down, push up 3 times, take 8 minutes twice a day, or 2 times, in a workout, twice a week. You will be conditioned to survive situations like that. Your body will be strong enough when you go to push on the ground to move quickly. Your body will be strong enough not to buckle and just snap underneath it, right? So deconditioned that they can't even move their own body weight around. What do you think is going to happen in the moment of an emergency? Not even an emergency. You just start to trip and you need to move your foot really fast. I had a client who broke her own ankle in the parking lot of the club we were at. Tripped over the curb, didn't fall, just took a quick hard step and snapped her ankle in half, right? That's osteoporosis. That's where your bones are so brittle. You're literally Samuel L. Jackson. Not literally, but you're Samuel L. Jackson from the Unbreakable movie. He's Mr. Glass, remember? Guy was like, you could just and just snap him, right? He's so brittle. people literally get to that point where any hard impact, any medium impact can damage them. Okay? So listen to these other stats. Here we go. This is from The Body Wise Woman. Okay? Another really good book. I use this one, reference this one a lot. Listen to this. 25 million Americans are affected by osteoporosis. Mind you, this is from the 90s. 80% of those affected by osteoporosis are women. True. These are all facts. Osteoporosis is responsible for 1.5 million hip, wrist, vertebral, and other site fractures annually. Annually. Okay? It is estimated that 1 out of every 2 women over the age of 65 have osteoporosis and have had osteoporosis-related fractures. White women 60 years of age or older have at least twice the occurrence of fractures as African American women. However, 1 out of 5 African American women are at risk of developing osteoporosis. And last one, while osteoporosis is often thought of as an older person disease, it can strike at any age, including 47. So, bottom line, people, ladies, especially you, but ladies and gentlemen, you have got to introduce resistance training into your life. If you don't, your body's going to start to break. There's this thing called gravity, and it's going to start to pull on your body at some point, mostly at birth. And then once that occurs, your body is in a losing battle against it. It's going to grow up big and strong until you're about 23 to 35 somewhere. It's going to reach its peak. And then from there on, it's up to you. You have a jug that's dumping in water at the top. Those are all the deposits that you can put in to helping your body stay strong and dense and tall and capable and able. And anywhere between 23 and 35, somebody's going to come up, Father Time, and he's going to poke a hole in that barrel, and it's going to start to drain out. Not a whole lot in the beginning, but that hole is going to get bigger and bigger and bigger as you get older. And if you're not depositing in the top to at least maintain that water line, it's going to start to decline really, really quickly. And before you know it, 45, 55, maybe 60, you're going to enter something called the disability threshold, where you are not capable of taking care of yourself anymore, and someone else is going to have to do it for you. At 45 to 60 years old, can you believe that? Okay? I am telling you right now, based off just bone density issues, that 1 out of every 2 females before the age of 65 are going to experience some severe, moderate to severe fracture. I don't know how you want to clarify a severe fracture. Something snapped in your body, you're going to need rehab and a lot of time to recover. I don't know how they classify like moderate to severe. Maybe a compound fracture is severe. I think a break is a break and you're in trouble. If you have osteoporosis, you're in a lot of trouble. If you are over 65, you are in a lot of trouble from that. And if you're a female, you're even more trouble from that, because we're getting into this part now where as you start to enter and get close to menopause, you're going to start to have a lot of problems because you don't have a whole lot of testosterone, if any at all. You don't have estrogen in your system, and you don't have estrogen as well. Apparently, that's a osteoproductive... Estrogen is a osteoprotective playing a key role in maintaining bone health. So it's, from what I understand, it's part of the osteoclasts that are helping rebuild after the osteoblasts are coming in and destroying the bone densities, right? And so you need this to encourage the bone growth and the hardening of the bone. It declines during menopause and is the lead cause of osteoporosis, okay? As this continues, osteoporosis is a low bone density mass, affects an estimated 35 million women. Okay, the one I just gave you was 30. That was in 2009, right? Okay, you can read more about this in Outlive. This is Peter Attia's book. Fantastic book, by the way. Talks about menopause, goes into quite a bit like that, and really good information for women and anybody over the age of 50. I really encourage you to read. I encourage everybody to read Outlive. But if you listen to this, I like to read a book and hold it just as much as the next guy, okay? But if you listen to it, Peter reads it. And it's so good. It's just basically like listening to him tell stories, okay? I listen to his podcast all the time. Keegan got me a membership on his podcast. Fantastic speaker, great storyteller, even better when he's reading his book. It's so good, okay? And then this one, Built from Broken. This is another really good book. Scott Hogan, okay? Really great book. Has really good information about resistance training, understanding what's happening to your bodies as we age. And then some of the other classics too, Strength Training Past 50, etc. These are all really great books, okay? All really help in the education of this. So what can you do to mitigate the risk? What's the answer, everybody? Hey, according to this week's podcast guest, I don't know who that was, the answer is resistance training, okay? These exercises could help offset the effects of declining estrogen and somewhat reverse bone loss. Okay, these exercises could, I will say the reason they're using the word could is because if you don't use enough load, then it won't. Does that make sense? If you're like, well, I did the exercises you told me to go around the machines 2 times and do sets of 8. But if you only use 3.5 pounds on each one and it's not a challenge, it's not going to work, okay? You have to use a load that's what we call overload training, okay? I'm not talking down anybody, I'm just explaining. If you have a load, okay? Here's my weight of my pen, and I can move this pen, and I'm like, there's a load here, okay? Let's pretend this weighs 0.5 pound, right? I can move, my body is used to moving 0.5 pound all the time, all day long. But what happens when this becomes a pound? Is it more challenging? I don't notice it, but yes, I can still move it around. What if it's 5 pounds? Okay, that's a big difference, but I can still do hundreds of them, right? What if it's 10 pounds? What if it's 15 pounds? What if this pen is 30 pounds? You think I can keep doing this? You think I do that with 30 pounds, right? Maybe once or twice, and then, okay, this is really getting difficult. What if it's 60 pounds? Holy cow, I can't do it once. That is overload. That's excessive load, 60 pounds. But if I got 30 pounds and I'm like, oh man, this is super challenging. I can do it, but it's pretty damn hard. I can only do like 6 or 8 or 10 of them. That's called overload. Your body is now recognizing this is more than I normally do. It's more than regular load, okay? And I'm going to start to tear down muscle fibers because they're pulling apart. They're ripping under this tension. This is good ripping. You're not hurting yourself, okay? Then because that little bit of tearing has occurred, it's going to start to rebuild. Actin and myosin heads of the muscle are going to start to rebuild more binding sites and or denser binding sites that will either make your muscles bigger or stronger or both. And what makes that difference? How much load you're lifting and how many times you lift it. At what tempo do you lift it? How much rest do you get when you lift it? What are you putting in your body afterwards when you recover? How much sleep? All of this, hydration, everything, all goes into how effective is that training and what result will it have on you. Now, if you're training all the muscles and the muscles are manipulating, their job is to manipulate and move the puppeteering strings of the body around, right? The muscles are attached to the bones to manipulate and move the bones around. The bones are the structure. So if the muscles are pulling on the bones and stressing them, what do you think they're going to do? They're going to build back harder. They're going to build back more dense, and that's going to decrease your risk of osteopenia. And if you already have it, it's going to start to increase your bone density to a point, hopefully via a score of a bone density scan, right? You'll get a score of -1 to -2.5 is osteopenia. Anything lower than 2.5 is full-blown osteoporosis, okay? So you basically want a 0 score or higher, which means you don't have any bone density issues, right? Weird scoring system. It's 3 to a -3 or 2.5 to a -2.5, something like that, right? So resistance training definitely will help if you do it the right way. And it definitely will increase bone density, again, if you do it the right way, okay? The best part of this is you don't need to lift extremely heavy weights or train every day to see the benefit. Discover how to protect your long-term resistance training, link in bio. Okay, and they talk about in there how you could do 3 sets of 10 with a moderate load 2 or 3 days a week. 1 day a week will actually produce really great results. 2 even better, 3's kind of the best, okay? Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. Get into an every other day split where you train a little bit of your whole body every day. You're going to be in great shape, okay? Now, let's take a look at somebody who is doing just that with fantastic technique.
You're back. One.
Joe Stockinger deadlifts 184 kilos. That's 450 pounds for 3 reps at 90 years old. Look at this guy, 90 years old. Number one, look how young he looks. Dude does not look 90. I've seen 90, and 90's like crypt creeper. Like you look and you're like, that guy's 90. That guy, like, keep the AED ready. He's going to need to get jump started any minute. Don't scare him. God knows what's going to happen, right? Look at this guy. 90? He's rocking the singlet. He's got the weight belt. He's got the ankle weights on, rocking the socks so he can get good ground contact with his feet, pushing all the way through. Look at the forearms. Look at the vascularity of this guy. Dude takes care of himself. Look at this. 405 pounds. The son right away is like, or whoever he's training with, he goes, "You're back." And I thought he was saying like, "Your back's in really good position," which it is. It's great. This is a fantastic deadlift. But he was saying like, "You're back." Like, you're back in. I guess he had an injury or something like that. Look at that, man. 405 at 90 years old. Holy cow. You know what no doctor ever said to that guy? Stop lifting weights, you're going to get hurt. Why do we say this? Here's another thing that came from that show. If you watch one of my other videos, I talk about it. There's a guy on there, some kind of politician. This is in the first season, so we binged it this weekend because I loved every second. I watched the first 3 episodes of the second season. I saw the whole thing with Reid. And I was like, this show's amazing. You can only watch up to the most current episode, which they're only on episode 4. So I was like, well, I can only get these 3 episodes. We were waiting for the 4th to come out. Let's go back and watch season 1. So in season 1, they've got this politician. I don't know his name. I don't remember his name. And he was working for Obama. And then when Trump got voted in, he made it like 11 days and he got fired. Okay. That's all I know about him. I'm not talking politics. I'm just telling you who he is. He said what I just said. Okay. So that individual says at one point, people just need to understand, he's from New York, so I'm doing my best accent. People just need to understand that with old age comes frailty. No, it doesn't. Tell that to this guy. Does this dude look frail? Do you need to go up to this guy and say, "Hey, Joe, can I help you out with your groceries because I don't think you can carry them"? Look at this guy. Do you need to help? Do you need to get his walker for him? Do you need to help him? Do you need to help him, get to the barbecue pit to cook his own meals? Do you need to help him do anything? Look at this guy. Great posture.
You're back.
Perfect deadlift. You hear the son. You're back. Look at the pipes on him. Look at the forearms. No gut. Super healthy. Unless the guy drinks like a fish and smokes and is like on the weekends. Unless he's doing that stuff, he looks pretty freaking healthy to me. Okay? I don't think you accidentally deadlift 405 for a triple, which is like a 455 single, by the way. Mad respect, okay? That's amazing. This guy's my hero, okay? So cool. With aging does not come frailty. Stop saying that shit. Stop putting that out there in the world. Yes, as you get older, you're going to need more time to recover. You're going to need more things to address an aging body. You're going to need to start to train more efficiently, most effectively with the smartest training programs you can. You can't get away with the things you used to be able to when you were 20 or even 30. 40 and 50, you're going to have to change things up. Still work really hard. You might need some supplements. You might need to sleep a little bit more. You might have to really focus on your hydration. You're going to need big recovery days. When you get into 50 and 60, you're going to need to take all that to the next level. Just because you're getting older does not mean you have to be frail, you have to be on a wheelchair, you have to be on 7 to 10 different medications, you have to be a fall risk, you have to be a liability to other people around you, you have to be a trouble to go on vacation because you can't go on any of the rides or you can't get up and down the stairs in the hotel room. Like all these things come into play effect in which most of our society just suggests you're old, that's the way it is. And I am here with videos like this to educate you that no, it's not. Joe is not an outlier. Joe is an individual who made resistance training a priority in his life. And every single person can do that too. They just don't. And I am not lecturing. I am a walking hypocrite of an individual who did that himself. From age 33 until 40, I didn't lift weights consistently at all. And yet was still out there teaching and coaching and preaching and presenting to people to do so. Then I got my act together when I was about to turn 40. I got my shit together. I started to train smarter, and I was able to build my body back to the point where I'm able to do things again, where I can play with my kids, where I can dance with my wife, where I can do all the things that I want to do. I can go do zip lines. I can go do rock climbing. I can't do anything to an extreme, but I can do a little bit of everything recreationally. This is the purpose of resistance training. It's not to be big and bad and jacked and vascular and big pecs and awesome quads and blah, blah, blah. All those things may happen, but that's not the purpose of this. The purpose is to maintain and improve a quality of life, to keep you capable and able of living the life you've always wanted to. That's why it's called the golden years, everybody. You're supposed to be living your best life. You've worked your ass off for five freaking decades, right? And you saved all this money and you retire and you're too crippled to go and do anything. What is the purpose of this? What are we doing here? You're not guaranteed tomorrow, so what are we doing? The average American dies at 71. They retire at 65. So you get 6 years? That's what we're doing? We're doing all of this for 6 years? We're hoping that those 6 years are so amazing that it was worth the previous 5 decades? All the years of schooling, all the commitments, all the hard work, all the late nights, all the early mornings, all the events, all the coaching, What are we doing here? Twice a week, 30 minutes, get in the weight room, change your life. Story after story after story of people that are doing this. You don't have to deadlift 450 pounds. You can, you don't have to. You can just move around basic weights, do simple things, and it'll have a massive effect on your body. I guarantee it. There's so much research out there to support it. Look. That's 5 of the 60 I have in my bookshelf. That's probably enough. I've probably preached enough. I hope you got something from this. You can tell I'm pretty fired up. Tara Reid, come and train with me. I can help you. Come and train with anyone. Start lifting weights. Change your life. You can do it. I guarantee it. So I don't want you to be this frail individual who's going to break, and I'm so fearful you're already there. Don't be a statistic, everybody. Help me end sarcopenia. How do you do that? Resistance train twice a week for 30 minutes. It's a great start. If you need help, send me a message. I got you covered. Robert Linkul, trainingtheolderadult.com. Please continue to fight your good fight against sarcopenia. See you in the next one. Peace.